Hello, my name is Tasha. I am coming on to YouTube. I'm making this video. Um, Subscribe if you like, please. Okay, so basically, what I'm talking about is um, nar- a narcissistic person, and I'm going to relate this to a relationship, and then afterwards relate it to our president. All right, and how our president shows a narcissistic uh, traits. All right. Now, the first question would be, how does a narcissist enter into um, our lives, and how does a narcissist enter into a presidency? All right. Let's tackle the first question first. How does a narcissistic person enter into our lives in the first place? All right. So basically, what happens is that when a woman or a man enter into get into a relationship, if they have no boundaries, number one thing that you need is boundaries. Especially if you're dealing with someone or whomever it is, you have to have boundaries set in place. If you allow a person to just do whatever they want to do and not correct them or not say, this is it, I've had enough or whatever the case may be, then they will continue doing it. All right. So the first thing is that a woman can subject herself to a narcissistic type of person when she has no boundaries. Okay. Um, Now, you may say, well, I told him what I wanted, but you didn't put any boundaries up. You let it go on for too long. All right. Now, the second thing of how a narcissist can enter into our lives is they may have insecurities. And while everyone may have certain insecurities, everyone doesn't wear insecurities on their shoulders, all right? Sometimes people can see the insecurities that's on your shoulders because, number one, some people may not deal with their issues, right? They may not deal with their issues. The healing process is much more difficult to deal with than the actual going through it. Okay, let's say you may have a hip surgery or whatever. Well, the thought of actually having surgery is much more difficult because now you have to do more in order to go through that surgery versus your hip just hurting. Some people become complacent in just having their hip hurt every day. They can take Tylenol or whatever the case may be, but eventually it'll get worse and worse and worse, right? But some people, they choose not to deal with the the emotional issues that has caused them to get to this point. So they become more susceptible to a narcissistic type of personality person coming into their lives. All right. The third thing is that when people you have lack of boundaries, people who have not dealt with their issues, and then pride. All right. Now, a lot of people say, well, I'm just confident. Well, there's a big difference between being confident and then being prideful. Pride will cause you. It's like as if you're walking down the street, right, and you have your head all the way up in the air, your head all the way looking up to the sky. Well, guess what? You can't see when you fall, right? And a lot of times things can be, going around you or whatever, but you're like, you know what? I got this. I don't need nobody. I got this. I'm still going good or whatever the case may be. And you're not realizing that you're about to make a big mistake. All right? That's pride. And then also feeling that, I'm entitled. And you'll see where I'm coming from when I use the word entitlement. All right. Now, in a relationship, when a woman gets into a relationship with a narcissist, what happens? He tells her everything that she wants to hear. He becomes this knight in shining armor to her. He becomes this because narcissist is called the love bombing stage. So he eagerly attacks her where she's vulnerable at. all right, and he attacks her with all the good gifts, with all the love bombings, with all the um, with the listening, with the here, I'm here for you if you need me, this, that, and the other. And once he got her hooked, then here comes the mind games. Then here comes the attack. And you're like, wait a minute, he switched on me. Why? You know, maybe he just needs some help. Maybe he's just doing this. Maybe he's just doing that. And sometimes we tend to excuse the fact of what this person is doing versus looking at it and say, you know what, I can love you from afar, but I'm walking away. All right? Because when a person loves themselves, they're not going to treat you any different than how they would treat themselves. All right? Understand that when a man or a woman have integrity, they'd rather just walk away before they treat you any type of way. All right? How does this relate to the president? Well, now, we must go back in time in our history. All right? If you ever studied American history, then you will see where this title of entitlement came from, where the pride came from, where the insecurities and the blame game came from. All right? Understand that if they were, understand that when they was writing the Constitution, that they were in slavery to the British. The white people were in slavery to the British. And even before then, when they wanted to be free from the British, they came over to the States. Before the States became America, there was only 13 colonies then. When they came over to the 13 colonies, they took from the people who were already over here, they took the land and said, now we are here to stay. And they ran other people off, all right? Now, they felt that they was entitled since they was running from the British people, okay? They felt that they was going to